Hello my loves, welcome back to Coffee with Joe. Today I am going to be talking about sleep training your baby. Now my son is almost 2, he's 18 months old and I'm a breastfeeding mom, so he was waking up to have breast milk at least 6 times in the night. So in the beginning I was like, okay, this is like fine, I could deal with this. You know, I wasn't really doing much. I'm a stay-at-home mom. But then I started nannying. I also I went back to school and I was like a zombie, barely functioning. Like not enough coffee in the world could keep me awake. But I swore that I would like never sleep train because I'm such an emotional person. I'm like very emotional with my son. I do not like to hear him cry. So the thought of like, I thought the only option was cry it out. And I'm so happy that like I did my research, I spoke to other moms, and I basically combined like 6 different methods into one and made it my own. So let's jump right in. Now, if you want to sleep train, the first thing I would say is that your spouse or your mom or whoever stays with you, whoever helps you, they have to be 100% on board. Like for the first few nights, my husband, because he's sleeping through the night, you know, he wakes up refreshed. He was like, no, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to hear our son cry. So I personally couldn't do it those first few nights because he wasn't on board with me and I already felt so bad doing it. So it's really important that you have the support of your loved ones. So he finally supported me on this and then I was able to move forward. Like there's no way to avoid that. But I had to keep telling myself his diaper is changed, he's fed, he's happy, he's okay. He's only crying because for his whole entire life, he's used to me breastfeeding him to sleep or me rocking him to sleep. So he's perfectly fine, but he's just crying because he has a routine and I'm breaking it. So they're gonna cry, but it's okay. Keep telling yourself, it's okay. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's okay. For me, I had to play a song. I had to have the TV on. I had friends over some nights to like help keep me busy and distract me. You cannot just sit there and watch them on the monitor crying or just sit there and listen to them cry. It's going to drive you crazy. So find something good to distract you. A glass of wine, a book, find anything. After doing research and like talking to other moms, shout out to my friend on Instagram, Gianna. She's amazing. She was sleep training her daughter and we have like similar personalities, like really loving and stuff. So I knew that if she could do it, then I could do it too. She gave me a little boost. But after doing my research and just like, you know, twerking things for what works for me, I decided that I was finally going to start. So there's a lot of different methods. Some of them say just drop the baby in the crib and just leave them to cry it out. Like I could not do that. Another method was like drop the baby in the crib and then go in every 5 minutes, then wait 10 minutes, then wait 15 minutes, then wait 20 minutes. And there's like a script that just says like, I love you, it's time to go to bed, and it's time, lay down, time to go to sleep, and you just walk out the room. So I'm so super big on routine. I think it's important that kids have routine. So I started off with a nighttime routine and I did this before I started sleep training. So every night we would calm down, no TV, no phones, no iPad. He would have a bath, he would have a bowl of oatmeal. I took away the last milk feeding and then I would just rock him to sleep after reading 2 books. So when he adjusted to that, when he adjusted to not going to sleep with my milk and knowing that, okay, we read our books, it's time to rock to sleep, then I moved on to the sleep training. So on the first night, after I gave him a bath, we read books, I hugged him and squeezed him for like 20 minutes saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. I put him in the crib, I laid him down and I said, Jackson, it's time to go to sleep. Mama loves you, lay down and go to sleep. And then I left the room. First night After I gave him a bath, we read books. I hugged him and squeezed him for like 20 minutes saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. I put him in the crib. I laid him down and I said, Jackson, it's time to go to sleep. Mama loves you. Lay down and go to sleep. And then I left the room. He screamed bloody murder. And I just want to check this out because I wrote it down like a log for you guys. So that first night I put him in the crib at 9:08. He screamed like, actually it wasn't a cry. He was more saying, help, help, mama, dada, all done crib, get me out. He was like really using his words more than he was crying. So that made me feel like, okay. So then I went back in at 9:13. I checked in on him. I told him, I love you. It's time to go to sleep. I didn't pick him up. I didn't hold him. I just kissed him on the forehead, told him to lay down, and left the room again. And then he screamed again, longer. So I went back in at 9:23 this time. So I know Jackson and I know his cries. I know when he's like in a serious cry where he's really, really upset. And I know when he's just kind of like complaining. So when I saw that his cry went from a scream and him saying, get me out, to like a, all done crib, like more of a whine, then I extended the time. At 9:35, he was just like a little quiet. So I just put my ear to the door and I heard a little whimpering, but I could tell that he was laying down. So I didn't go in at all. Then at 9:43, it was like completely silent. So at 9:50, I was like, okay, he's definitely asleep. He was asleep. So from 9:08 to 9:43, come about 35 minutes. Now, it feels crazy. It feels like it's so long. But I've watched so many videos, read so many stories of parents saying it took their child an hour, 2 hours. So I was just so grateful with that 35 minutes. But of course, he did not sleep through the night. He woke up at 12:30 and he was like really, really, really screaming. And he screamed for maybe 5 minutes, but then he got quiet. But I heard him in the crib playing. So instead of like following the rule of going back in, I didn't go in because he was just like playing and he was calm. But then at 1:12, I did go in because he was still up playing. And I told him the script, Mama loves you, lay down, it's time to go to sleep. And then he woke back up at 1:37. So I ended up going in at 1:37, 2:06, 5:30, and 6 o'clock. So that was 6 times, guys. And those are the times that his body was used to waking up just to breastfeed. Night 2 was a little easier. He only woke up at 12:50, 2:50, and 3:50. And I put him in the crib at 9 o'clock and he only cried for 16 minutes. He went to sleep at 9:16. By the 4th night, Jackson was sleeping through the night. And I was sleeping through the night. And now like I'm refreshed. I'm so excited. So although Jackson was sleeping through the night by the 4th night, a week later he went back and started waking up several times. So it got really good and then it got rough again, and now we're finally at a point where it probably took a full month before he was like not having interruptions and every single night sleeping through the night. But you have to stay strong. With time, it gets better. It may feel like the first few nights, the first week, the first 3 weeks, it may feel like, why the heck did I even start doing this? But it does get better. You just have to hold on to that thought at the end of the tunnel, that light that says you can sleep through the night. You can sleep through the night. You have to hold on to that. I promise you it does get better. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be tough. But as long as you remember that even if it takes 2 months, at the end of the day, you will be sleeping through the night. That is all that matters. If you are watching this video and you're going to start doing this tonight or whenever and you have questions, please, please, please come back and ask me questions here. I will be so happy to answer them. We are all in this together. Not getting enough sleep through the night is really tough, and as parents we need to be the best that we can be. I'm in a 1-bedroom New York City apartment. This meant that my husband and I were sleeping in the living room so that Jackson wasn't seeing us when we wake up. You know, it's all about the sacrifice, but it is worth it in the end. So I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in with Coffee with Joe. If you have any questions, drop them below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.